the BookTube, it's Leah Cooper here, and today I'm bringing you a Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday is a Goodreads group that, like, everyone does, so I'm sure you've heard the spiel. There's a Goodreads group. I'll link it down below if I remember. I haven't done one of these in, like, freaking forever, so I did it. Today's topic is Top 5 Books I Didn't Get to in 2018. Yeah. Which I thought was a good topic, and I went up on my laptop, I went up on my channel to see if I'd done a video of, like, most anticipated books for 2018 video last year. Thinking that I had, but I didn't. What I actually did was a top 5 books I didn't get to in 2017 video. So apparently I think this is an annual tradition topic for Top 5 Wednesday. So, I'm a little sad I don't have, like, an anticipated books of 2018 video that I could, like, watch and then be like, did I read or did I not read the books on this list? But it is what it is. What I do have are a couple of books from a 5-star predictions video I did late in 2017. Actually, there's 6 books on the list. Okay, let's be honest. There's 6 books on the list. I've read 3. So I'm feeling pretty damn good about that, actually. But there are 3 things on here that I did not get to that I really thought I was going to get to. So let's get started. Coming in at number, 5 is going to be The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I know that this was in my 5-star predictions video from 2017. I still haven't gotten to it. Why haven't I gotten to this? I think it's because it's classic Greek mythology, historical fiction. I don't reach for historical fiction much, unless it's, like, historical romance, but, like, there's a whole other reason why I'm reading historical romance. And so I just, also in my head, it's a long book. I don't actually know if that's true, but in my head, it is a chunker, and so I just never pick it up. The next thing off this list is His Majesty's Dragons, or Temeraire, Book 1, by Naomi Novik. It's over there. It's on that shelf. I don't feel like getting it. And just in general, I wanted to read the Temeraire books. I haven't, because they are a series, and I want to be able to read the series pretty close together, and I didn't want to pick up another series this year. One thing I mentioned, I think, in my top 5 books is that I read a lot more series this year, or I was, like, reading ongoing books and series instead of reading standalones. And I don't like having too many series going at one time, and I already have, like, probably a dozen right now, and so I just don't want to add to it, and that's why I am saving His Majesty's Dragons until I get through and finish a couple of other series. The other reason I haven't read these is they are mass market paperbacks, and I really just have not felt like reading mass market paperbacks. I forced myself to read a couple this year, and man, that used to be my favorite format. Like, I loved mass market paperbacks when I was a kid because, like, they were small and compact and light, but old eyes, I just don't like them anymore. So I have to, like, be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna read them. Maybe next year. The next thing on this list, which I feel like is right in front of me and I'm just not seeing it. Oh yeah, it is over there. I can see it now. That's Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. Practical Magic, the movie, is, like, one of my favorite movies. It's definitely my favorite Halloween movie. I love it. I really want to read the book. I know Derby from Derby Lane Reading loves this book, and she makes me want to read it every time she talks about Alice Hoffman. And I have put Practical Magic on my Spooktober TBR 2 years in a row. I specifically bought a copy of it last year so I could read it during October, and I just didn't get to it. I don't remember why. I really wanted to read it this year, and I didn't. And now it's a book. I have to read it in October. I have to read it around Halloween. I can't do it any other time. So it's not going to get read till next year at the earliest. And I have no good excuses for it. Actually, I do have a good excuse for it this year. I was fully intending on taking part in Spooktober this year, and I got the flu for 3 weeks. I was really, really sick, and I went from reading a lot in September to reading 1 book in October, and barely being able to sit up in bed. So that's actually a good excuse, I think. But yeah, I still have not read that book. And then I need to come up with 2 more things. And I know I've got like little piles of books because I went through all my books and I kind of sorted through what I have out because I have a lot of books in storage and I have a very small segment of it, of my collection, actually physically out here on the shelves. I just don't have space. So I went through and sorted through my books, picking out things that I definitely do want to get to in the next year, and things that I'm probably not going to feel inspired to pick up. And so I want to rotate those books back into storage and like maybe and refresh what's out on my shelves. Just kind of glancing around. Okay, something I can't remember when I was doing it. I think I was participating in a Jane Austen read along the end of 2016 that was going to go through the first quarter of 2017, and I reread 4 Austens, but I didn't get to Sense and Sensibility and Mansfield Park. These are the last 2 on the reread, and I didn't get to them. I know Sense and Sensibility was put on a TBR sometime this year. I didn't even read a page, and I really want to actually complete this reread. I really do. I had a lot of thoughts. I was going to do like a whole wrap up of like all of my Austen thoughts. I know I have a part 1. Where I was going to like, I was watching some of my favorite adaptations of the books too, and talking about the different adaptations in the books and like repeated themes and repeated characters and the way Austen writes and crafts stories and kind of tells the same story from different angles. And I didn't finish it. I also have a copy of the Jane Austen book club. It's also back there. I didn't grab it. I should have grabbed it. Whatever. I have a copy of that and I've never read it and I really want to read it because I kind of guilty pleasure like the movie. It's not a perfect movie, but it's fun and I really want to read the book, but I won't read the book until I finish my reread. So I didn't get to these. I do really, really want to get to them, especially Sense and Sensibility. I did not particularly like this book when I read it, but I read it when I was quite young. Like 12 or 13. Like I was definitely in grade school when I read this. I just found it really slow. I love the Emma Thompson movie. I have ever since I was a little small child because my sister loved it and so I used to watch it and I loved it. And I always thought the movie was better than the book, and I want to see if I still feel that way or if I pick up on a lot more nuances in this book, which is very likely. Not super into this one. I didn't like it when I read it. I did read this when I was older. I want to say I read this in high school, actually. It was the second to last one I read. The Northanger Abbey was the last one I read. And I definitely appreciated Northanger Abbey a little bit more reading it again. I mean, like, it's cheesy, but like you can see what Austen's trying to do with it. I don't know how I'll feel about this one because yeah, I really didn't like it. The movie adaptation, the one I've seen of this, like the old, is it late 90s adaptation, is real bad. Yeah, I don't know. But I gotta get to these. And then a really awesome gal on Twitter has put me onto a couple of queer adaptations of Austen books that aren't Pride and Prejudice. Because, like, it's really easy to find, like, Pride and Prejudice retellings or books inspired by Pride and Prejudice. But I was like, I went on Twitter and I said, I really want to read books inspired by Austen's other books because I like Pride and Prejudice, but it's not necessarily my favorite. And so she put me onto a couple that have queer characters, so I'm like super excited about that. And I think I might do a month later on where I try to do kind of just like just a bunch of Jane Austen. I'll read those books. I'll read Jane Austen book club. I'll read these last 2, etc. And then the last thing that's going to go on this list, I have to be real quick because my camera battery is dying, whoops, is a book that I'm actually 2/3 of the way through. I just haven't finished it yet. And by the time I put this video is going up later today, I will not have finished reading this, though I hope to have finished reading it by the end of the month. That is Revenant Gun by Yoon Ha-Lee. So I received this advanced reader's copy from the publisher. They contacted me asking me if I'd like a copy so that I could review it because I've reviewed the last 2. And it's the first time a publisher's ever actually reached out to me to see if I wanted a book. And I snapped it up because I loved the first 2. I've got reviews. You can find them on my channel. Nine Fox Gambit is still like one of my favorite science fiction books. And I just did not get around to reading this. And I feel really bad about it. Like, I feel awful. I feel dreadful. I will still do a review once I finish reading it, because now that I am almost 300 pages into this, I'm really quite enjoying it. I don't remember. I started reading it. I got about 75 pages into it, and then I put it down, and I did not come back to it. Like, I started reading this in early June, I think, is when I have it listed on my spreadsheet. Blame the reading slump. Yeah, I feel terrible. I'm glad I'm finally reading it. It was the thing that I hit my 50 book goal for Goodreads, and then I was like, okay, I can read whatever I want. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish Revenant Gun by the end of the year. And actually, I'm doing it. Like I said, it's really sped up in the middle. Like, the first couple, kind of 100 or so pages, I was kind of like, yeah. But it's really picked up. And I don't know where Yoon Holly is taking it. Like, I don't really know what the end game is. Yeah. I want to know what's going to happen. There will be a review of this once I finish it, but don't expect that before January. Suffice to say. So anyways, those are the top 5 books I did not get to in 2018. There's a ton of others, but this is Top 5 Wednesday. I'm going to keep the list short. I'm going to keep this video short and sweet. Thank you for watching. Let me know down below how your 2018 reading went. Did you get to everything you wanted to read? Were there some things that you like planning on reading and you just like did not get to them? like some things I can mention that I did not get to. Be sure and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys tomorrow in my next video.